Hello, everybody, and welcome to the X Factor with the Crypto Hipster. This is your host, the Crypto Hipster, Jamil Hasan, where I bring you crypto policy, regulatory news, insights, analysis, and commentary from around the world. This is episode 73 for the week of ending today, which is January 12th. Season 4, episode 13, number 73. We're marching our way on word and upward. I did 20 podcast seasons, so 7 more after this week to end season 4. And I haven't yet heard on the renewal. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the renewal of the X Factor with the Crypto Hipster, which has been, it's weekly. So it's that 52 plus 21 weeks, almost a year and a half. We've been doing this and bringing it to you. And we are headed into the year 2024. We are headed into the bull cycle at the outskirts of it now. And we're going to get things kicking off because at the end of March, end of April, around there, we have the next Bitcoin halving. And that signals the start of the next 4-year cycle. And I wonder what kind of spectacular X and implosions we are going to have. Whatever we have, I got you covered. I got you covered. I don't have I don't have 500,000 followers. I don't have, I don't show you the most shit coins. I don't grift and end up on CNBC. What I do is I just provide you with weekly news updates. And hopefully, you take those updates, take my commentary, put it together, and create your own investment mandate or news mandate or whatever mandate you want to do, which is cool because that's where we're at. And some housekeeping things today. A lot of the articles we're going to go over are U.S. centric. Sometimes most of my news show is global and covers other countries. And today, 75-80% of this stuff is in the U.S., but it pertains to everybody else. So let's talk about first, before we get into crypto and blockchain, we're going to talk about AI, which is artificial intelligence, and quantum. The World Economic Forum has identified AI and quantum computing as emerging global threats. The World Economic Forum has published its 19th Global Risks Report, highlighting a novel global threat, AI, and exploring its diverse implications in a dedicated section. The World Economic Forum report explores the varied impact of AI. It outlines the adverse outcomes of AI technology, some intended or unintended negative consequences of advances in AI and related technological capabilities, including generative AI, on individuals, businesses, ecosystems, and economies. The report also identifies quantum computing, a system reliant on AI, as a potential disruptor, posing risks to the existing tech landscape and introducing substantial security concerns. It categorizes the adverse outcomes of AI and frontier technologies to include quantum computing, biotechnology, and geoengineering. That's scary, right? However, the World Economic Forum noted that AI offers productivity benefits and breakthroughs in fields such as healthcare, education, and climate change. The report urged the reduction of intentional misuse of AI to adhere to regulations around it. Okay, sounds good. The report underscores AI's influence on the global job market, anticipating disruptions across multiple industries. While AI may create new job opportunities, the World Economic Forum notes it could also lead to significant job losses and economic instability. The report identifies the spread of misinformation and disinformation through manipulated and fabricated content as global risks capable of influencing public opinion and fostering distrust in facts and authority. That's where we're at. That's the landscape of the global news. We're looking at AI. What are we looking at here? The Crypto Hipster podcast. Well, we're looking at, I don't know, we're looking at ETFs. We're looking at bankruptcies. We're looking at FTX. In March, Sam Bankman-Fried is going to be tried. Going to be his verdict's coming. You're going to find out how much jail time he has coming to him. But In the meantime, FTX creditors seek an in-kind crypto repayments instead of 2022 low prices. They want their crypto back. Well, don't we all? I mean, don't we all? Like at Celsius, I don't want a percentage, but I'm going to get a percentage based on the low prices. Yeah, I would love to have, hey, you got this much in there, you get this much back, one for one, love it. But several FTX clients have requested a U.S. bankruptcy judge prevent the defunct crypto exchange FTX from valuing the cryptocurrency deposits based on 2022 prices. They argue that FTX approach is hindering them from capitalizing on the recent rise in crypto prices. In support of the debtor's motion to estimate claims based on digital assets, the official committee of unsecured creditors expressed the belief that estimating claim values collectively, as proposed in the motion, is the most efficient way to streamline the claim reconciliation process and expedite the Chapter 11 confirmation. The motion by the debtors state as follows. If the court determines that cryptocurrency deposits are not property of the estate, then such cryptocurrency, which has appreciated more than $5 billion since the petition date, must be returned to customers in kind and may not be used to pay, among other things, administrative claims. For Celsius, as a Celsius customer, I would have loved to see the lawyers not be able to raid the kitty. I would have loved to see the judge Glenn said that, that all the money belongs to the creditors and not Celsius. They didn't do that. The terms and conditions said that, we handed our money over, even though that was legal. That's what they said. So you had to honor that. So what do the terms and conditions say of FTX? I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. We have a lot of lawyers in the US. So, but what I can do is I can follow this for you, let you know how it goes, and then you let me know, how it goes for you. Let me know your thoughts. We already talked about AI with the World Economic Forum. The U.S. Congress is also scrutinizing AI's impact on financial services. The U.S. House of Representatives Financial Services Committee, FSC, has formed a working group on artificial intelligence to explore the impact of AI in the financial services and housing industries. Okay. FSC Chairman, Representative Patrick McHenry, and Representative Maxine Waters announced the formation of bipartisan working group on AI on January 11 yesterday. The group is to examine how AI affects the financial services workforce, including new products, preventing fraud, improving compliance, and enhancing regulatory tools. The group will also review current regulations on AI use and ensure new regulations consider both AI's potential benefits and risks. According to the announcement, this effort builds on the work of the Task Force on Artificial Intelligence in the 116th and 117th Congresses. The new body differs from the group of members of the New York Democratic Coalition announced on August 15, 2023. While they both share a similar goal of developing bipartisan policies to address this emerging technology, the FSC's AI working group is bipartisan, involving both Democrats and Republicans. Don't really care. What I do care about is I apologize for my voice today. My voice was doing really well, but then my kid didn't want to get up and do his volunteering that he was signed up to do. You know how that goes. Sometimes we yell like a football coach. Yelling like a football coach is something that needs to be done sometimes, not only with your kid, but policymakers. Policymakers need to be yelled at like you're a football coach because they deserve it. Spot Bitcoin ETF. Should retail investors be concerned? Let's see. The approval of the first spot Bitcoin exchange traded funds in the U.S. will open the crypto market to billions and billions of dollars institutional capital. According to public trading data, the volume across the 10 approved spot Bitcoin ETFs reached more than $4.5 billion on the first day of trading on January 11, 2024. Grayscale Investments Bitcoin ETF alone reportedly handled over $2 billion in volume. As massive amounts of institutional capital are expected to flow into the Bitcoin market, is there a cause for concern? Yeah. Executives and analysts in the industry have mixed opinions. Be careful who you consider an analyst. I mean, anybody can be called an analyst, Just because you can make toast in a toaster, that doesn't make you a gourmet chef. An ETF will be a great entry point for non-institutional investors, they said, but be careful who you listen to. In contrast, others think ETFs are not a good fit for retail investment. Instead, they should stick to actually owning Bitcoin with self-custody instead. Where do I stand? I prefer to own Bitcoin over a Bitcoin ETF. That's me. Why? The Wall Street executives and C-suiters who got there, some of them based on merit, most others based on not taking my money that doesn't belong to them. Yeah, I got a problem with that. Hopefully, owning a Bitcoin and holding Bitcoin is a solution, and not buying the ETFs so they can make profit sales and their bonuses based on my purchase. So that's just me, and I'm sticking to it. So a spot Bitcoin ETF is strictly good for retail investors. Bitwise CIO Matt Hugan said in an interview, according to him, spot Bitcoin ETF would lower the cost of accessing Bitcoin, which would make this Bitcoin market efficient. So you could be partial Bitcoins through. You could have bought partial Bitcoins anyway. You don't have to buy a stock. You don't have to buy an ETF, but ETFs bring in institutional money. So now, what Gary Gensler, the policymaker you need to yell like a football coach at, says the SEC did not approve or endorse Bitcoin with spot Bitcoin ETF nod. Securities and Exchange Commissioner Gary Gensler, who was appointed to his position, by the way, not based on merit, one of those people, has reiterated that his agency still doesn't endorse Bitcoin, despite approving 11 spot Bitcoin ETFs on January 10th. He says, while we approved the listing and trading of certain spot Bitcoin ETP shares today, ETP, we did not approve or endorse Bitcoin. Gensler reiterated his agency's stance toward the cryptocurrency, contrasting Bitcoin's speculative nature, speculative in quotations, with the utility of precious metals such as gold, silver, and platinum. He added the regulator remain merit neutral and does not take a view on particular companies, investments, or assets underlying an exchange-traded product. Despite this, Gensler made specific mention that Bitcoin was still used frequently to settle transactions in nefarious and illicit activities. There has, however, been mounting evidence to the contrary. Though we're merit neutral, he said, I know that the underlying assets and the metals ETPs have consumer and industrial uses, while in contrast, Bitcoin is primarily a speculative volatile asset that's also used for illicit activity, including ransomware, money laundering, sanction evasion, and terrorist financing. Wow. Investors should remain cautious about a myriad of risks associated with Bitcoin and products whose value is tied to crypto. Let me know your thoughts. Next, spot Bitcoin ETF approvals. They were approved. You guys catch what happened this week? They were announced a day early by accident. And then about an hour later, the SEC said that their Twitter account was hacked. So, but then they approved them the next day. But on that day, when I was looking at it, I got the announcement that they're approved. What happened to the price of Bitcoin? It went down immediately. The market was a sell the market news event. But what happened? Ethereum went up immediately. Why would that happen on the day of Bitcoin's announcement, although it was false announcement? Why would that dip in Bitcoin happen and the jump in Ethereum? Why? Maybe, just a hunch, there's more institutional money in Ethereum than there's Bitcoin. Maybe all the businesses like JP Morgan, like these companies who are against Bitcoin or publicly have been against Bitcoin, maybe all their rails, all their businesses are built on Ethereum. Let me know your thoughts. Also, Vanguard, Merrill Lynch, and some others have said that they're not offering Bitcoin ETFs to their clients. My financial advice, my non-financial advice to you: switch to Fidelity. Okay, Vanguard's old school. It's kind of like Blockbuster. It's kind of, as opposed to Netflix. It's kind of like the abacus as opposed to the calculator. You know, you want to invest in Bitcoin. You want to do it through a stock exchange, Fidelity, or any of the 10 others. The 10 others. Who are the 10 others? Okay. Well, hopefully this article will tell you who the 10 others are. Let's see. Who are they? Do we know? We know at least Fidelity. Okay. We know FanEck. We know lots of other people. And there's a low list. There's 11 of them. And there's even one that has the ticker HODL. Who's that? I don't know. But do your research. Find out who are these 11 companies. Which one do you trust? And there's going to be others that do not want your business, like Vanguard, like Merrill Lynch. There are who do, like these 11 companies. These spot Bitcoin ETFs are approved. Let me know your thoughts and do your research. Do your research. Who's favorable to Bitcoin? Who wants you to have opportunity? Oh, and by the way, Vanguard is one of the top holders of MicroStrategy. And MicroStrategy is the top corporate holder of Bitcoin. So you don't have to own it directly. So they don't want you to have it through them, but they want to have it for them. Things that make you go, I would be thinking that. Let's switch agencies. Let's go to CFTC. The CFTC outlines ways to mitigate DeFi risks and promising opportunities. The U.S. Commodity Futures Trading Commission, which regulates the U.S. derivative markets, published a report detailing its recommendations for policymakers and industry players to mitigate risks associated with DeFi, decentralized finance. Within this DeFi report, the CFTC's Digital Assets and Blockchain Technology Subcommittee wrote that the space presents promising opportunities. However, the CFTC says it also carries complex and significant risks to the U.S. financial system, its consumers, and the country's national security. The CFTC outlines several ways to mitigate DeFi risks in the report. This includes increasing technical capacities and understanding DeFi, surveying the existing regulatory perimeter, identifying risks and vulnerabilities, and evaluating potential policy responses to address risks. The report also highlighted that policymakers should then determine the most appropriate target and form of regulatory intervention. In addition, when identifying regulatory intervention targets, the CFTC recommended policymakers consider where the intervention is likely to impose the lowest costs and generate the fewest unintended consequences to balance costs and benefits. Let me know your thoughts on that. Okay. Then we're going to go to talk about our favorite politician. Actually, our least favorite and most easily bought out politician, Senator Warren. The Blockchain Association challenges Senator Warren's crypto hiring criticism. Let's see. The Blockchain Association, a major nonprofit organization that supports the digital asset economy and environment, has responded to U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren's criticism of government-related hires in the crypto industry. On January 9, Blockchain Association CEO Kristen Smith published an open letter addressed to Warren, urging her to collaborate on issues like the involvement of government officials in the industry. On behalf of the Blockchain Association, Smith offered the organization's partnership to work with Warren on the issues she raised in a letter on December 18, 2023, where Warren sent letters to advocacy groups, including the Blockchain Association and Coin Center, arguing that many state officials could be laying the groundwork while in public service to audition for positions in the crypto industry. She also cited reports that certain entities within the crypto industry had a small army of former defense, national security, and law enforcement officials aimed at preventing regulation of digital assets. Well, we know Senator Warren does not like crypto. We know this because she has an army against it. But, people of Massachusetts in the next election where she runs have a responsibility to look at the issues and say, okay, what's more important? Driving 25 miles per hour in the left-hand lane of a superhighway, or voting for somebody who's pro-crypto and pro my life and pro, not my life, Crypto Hipster's life, but pro their life, and being able to make, advance from being poverty to the upper class. And because they got nowhere middle class in the U.S., so you got to go either poverty or upper class. So how do you get there? Well, Bitcoin's a great way to get there. It's hardcore money. It's not the bought out politician money, But hey, I don't live in Massachusetts. It's not my responsibility to vote her out. It is the people's of Massachusetts' responsibility to vote her out if they so deem that she doesn't belong there. And the whole world's telling you, Massachusetts, that she doesn't belong there. So sometimes you got to listen to people, and listen to everybody and do the right thing. I don't know. That's my 2 cents. Let me know your 2 Satoshis. Right? Well, and one last area of the U.S. we're going to talk about is Genesis Global Trading settles with NYDFS and will forfeit their BIT license and pay $8 million. Genesis Global Trading has agreed to settle with the New York Department of Financial Services, surrendering its ability to conduct operations in the state. According to a January 12 announcement, which is this morning, Genesis agreed to pay an $8 million penalty to the NYDFS, cease operations in New York, and surrender its BIT license, which the firm had held since 2018. The settlement followed an investigation in which New York authorities discovered significant failings in Genesis anti-money laundering and cybersecurity programs. That's the state of crypto in the U.S. Okay, so let's go to Canada. What happens over in Canada? I sound like Fonzie. Canada may also benefit as U.S. finally gets its spot Bitcoin ETF. Canadians have had spot Bitcoin exchange traded funds available to them since early 2021. They've been this for 3 years here. But there may be so subtle effects on the market now that their neighbors to the south, which is the U.S., which is us, have the same opportunities. Coinbase Canada Director Lucas Matheson said he praised Canadian regulators as leading the world. Spot Bitcoin ETFs have been gradually integrated into the larger Canadian financial system since their introduction and are becoming a standard part of the family office holdings, tax advantage funds, and other mainstream financial products. The U.S. SEC decision to approve spot Bitcoin ETFs validates cryptocurrencies as an asset class and builds credibility for the industry at large, Matheson said. All right. Good job, Mr. Matheson. Latin America. Let's go to Honduras. Honduras Special Zone officially recognizes Bitcoin as a unit of account. Less than 2 years after the adoption of Bitcoin as legal tender, Prospera, a special economic zone in Roatan, Honduras, has officially recognized Bitcoin as a unit of account, meaning it can now be used to measure the market value of goods and services. The development was spearheaded by Jorge Colindres, the acting manager and tax commissioner of Prospera Zone for Employment and Economic Development. And he said at Prospera Zone, we believe in the right to financial freedom and monetary freedom. People should be free to carry out transactions, do their accounting, and report taxes in the currency of their free choice. I agree, sir. Hey, let me know your thoughts. Europe, got 3 more places to be. One's Europe, England. Bank of England tells Parliament Bitcoin is too inefficient to use. Bitcoin is not taking off and losing momentum as a payment method because of its inefficiency. Bank of England Governor Andrew Bailey told the UK Parliament Treasury Committee on Wednesday. Bailey and BOE Deputy Governor Sarah Breeden appeared before the committee to discuss the BOE's latest financial stability report. Bailey repeated its assertion that unbanked cryptocurrency has no intrinsic value. Furthermore, he said, My own sense is that it's not taking off as what I might call a core financial service. For instance, using Bitcoin as a payment method is pretty inefficient. But you know what's a good payment method? Litecoin. Litecoin is good for payments. Bitcoin, meanwhile, is good for investment and value and store value. Bailey continued. Bailey Breeden added that the lack of regulatory framework is hindering the progress of crypto and traditional finance, but the situation was changing. Bailey continued that stablecoin presented challenges to the regulators, and it was not stable enough. He called them opaque. Stablecoins being opaque. That makes sense to me. Let me know your thoughts. Let's go to Asia. Let's talk about North Korea. North Korean Lazarus Group moves Bitcoin around after weeks of inactivity. The North Korean hackers Lazarus Group moved $1 million worth of Bitcoin on January 8th after weeks of inactivity, according to blockchain analyst Arkham Intelligence. The Lazarus Group transferred 27,371 Bitcoin worth $1.2 million at the current price. Actually, 27 Bitcoin, not 27,000 Bitcoin. That would be like $1 billion. So, because my math, because like I'm not using an abacus, I just plugged it into the calculator here. Who needs to learn that lesson? Oh yeah, Vanguard. Anyway, according to blockchain, let's see. Lazarus Group then sent 3.3 Bitcoin worth $150,000 to an inactive address they used before. So they're moving money around. Lazarus Group, pretty dangerous. Got to stay away from them. Let me know your thoughts. South Korea. South Korea regulator warns against U.S. Bitcoin ETF trading. The Financial Services Commission, FSC, a principal financial regulator in South Korea, has warned local firms against brokering spot Bitcoin exchange rate traded funds from the U.S. On January 12, the FSC issued, which is this morning, the FSC issued a brief press release emphasizing that domestic securities firms brokering overseas listed spot Bitcoin ETFs may violate the existing government stance on virtual assets and the Capital Markets Act. However, the statement notes that regulatory regime for crypto in the country is still in its established stages. Thus, the commission plans to review the regulations regarding the updates overseas, specifically in the U.S. The long-anticipated legal approval to trade spot Bitcoin ETFs was handled this week in the U.S. Yeah, and because that was anticipated news, because people were waiting for that, there's nothing else to report except one thing, a couple things. Number one, I have 3 amazing Crypto Hipster podcasts coming to you this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Make sure you check them out. 3 amazing guest podcast interviews. Amazing. Absolutely incredible. Please check them. That's one. Number 2, I finalized the payment and the deal where this July, Crypto Hipster podcast will be a sponsor of the upcoming Litecoin Summit in Memphis, Tennessee. Make sure you go. I'm going. Last time I sponsored in November 2022, I wasn't able to make it. I can go this time, hopefully. Fingers crossed. We'll be there. As a sponsor, the lineup so far for speakers, it's amazing. It's always great to go to a conference, talk about payments. Litecoin is top for payments. Make sure you go. And that's what I have. This has been episode 73. Join me each and every Friday for the X Factor of the Crypto Hipster. Have a wonderful week.